Welcome to a conversation with Senator Michael Moore. My name is Kevin Byrne, and Michael Moore is our state senator representing the 2nd Worcester District.
Very good.
And I will get this wrong again, which consists of 7 separate communities in a part of Worcester.
Yes.
I did it. I did it right after all this time. And again, welcome back. We haven't done a program in an inordinately long period of time, mostly my fault and mostly the senator who's busy traveling everywhere.
Well, I don't think my travel is quite as extensive as yours. So let's.
Well, no, we've been kind of local. In any event, it's wonderful to be back.
Nice to be back again.
And I said this the last time, I said we're gonna do this on a regular, weekly, or monthly basis. And then COVID became Delta, and Delta became Omicron, doo-dah, 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 doo-dah.
And I think now, as you guys just told me
Now-
before the show, I'm heard it's B something.
Now we're B1.
B1, okay.
Which sounds like a vitamin, but apparently it's not a vitamin. It's a serious illness.
Yes.
And the rest
Yep.
of it. So, how have you been since we last did a program?
Good.
We should ask Liz when we last did a program. She knows. Liz knows everything.
Yeah.
We'll ask Shelley.
Oh, there we go.
Shelley knows. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, and Liz would
By the way,
probably-
Shelley, every time we do a program, I email Shelley, who is your, what's her official title?
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff, and I said, Shell, we're doing taping, what's he want to talk about, okay? And she does it, okay? So I kind of forgot about it until a couple of days ago. What's today? Today is
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay? So I think it was Friday or something. I said, my God, I haven't heard from Shelley because I haven't heard from Shelley. So I said, Shelley, what are we going to talk about, okay? And she must have been, she was doing something. She said, I'll get to you tomorrow. Bye. Okay. And she got to me tomorrow. And she did it. And she says, this is a little long, but, here's a lot of stuff. Why don't you guys pick and choose what you want to talk about? So we got all of these pieces of material from Shelley McNeil, who really and truly, ladies and gentlemen, in our Shrewsbury community, is really this senator. Shelley runs everything. She's in the State House, and she sends Michael out to meet all the people and to talk and to do all of that.
As I said, I was at an event.
She's been with you for how long? Years.
13, 14 years. Yeah.
Wow. Senator.
So I was at an event.
Auburn. She's an Auburn person.
No, Stoneham.
Stoneham?
Doreen, my constituent service
Oh, I'm
person, she's
sorry.
from
I got the
Auburn.
wrong one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was at an event yesterday. I think it was yesterday, the day before.
You're at an event every day.
And Shelley called, and I said, "Oh, my boss is calling."
It's wonderful to have that kind of support.
Yes, it is. No, really is. No, she does a great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's up? What have you been doing? Well, I know what you've been doing because I'm looking at 21 pages worth of stuff, and the process is going busy. Personally, how are the kids?
The kids are doing great. My
God, I'm
daughter's
afraid to ask. How old are they now?
my daughter's 20.
Oh.
She's finishing her junior year at Tufts.
Tufts, she's still at
Yeah,
Tufts.
in Somerville. She actually, after halfway through her freshman year, she got an internship from the school at a place called Blueprint Lab, and she's been doing a lot of cancer research.
Wow.
And the professor that brought her over here, some little bragging rights here.
Sure.
The professor that brought her to the lab was working on their PhD program. So they have her doing cancer research, splitting DNA and splitting proteins and all this. And she
Stuff
actually,
that you and I have no clue what any of it means.
she sent me her report that she had to submit to the school for the credit. And,
You're saying, is this English?
yeah, but but the process she did, she actually performed something with protein, and she was the first person in the company's history to do it. And now, because the associate professor who is doing the PhD program that works at the lab, she's now going to be a co-author of the person's
Wow.
get-
Dissertation or
dissertation.
whatever they call it.
And
Isn't that
she,
great?
yeah, and she also
So
just
she's a junior.
she's a junior, and she also received from the school a biology award from the biology department.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's doing well. And my son's a senior at Valley Tech.
Senior.
Yes.
Senior in high school.
Yes.
The little sucker that
The
used
little
to come.
guy is now my
God, when you were campaigning and I first started going with you, and that little kid was a terror. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
He was always hanging on your legs.
Yep, climbing up and down me. Yeah.
Absolutely all over
Yeah.
the place.
Now he's my height. He's working out the gym every night. So he's doing well. And actually, we were mentioning UNH before the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
We were up there Saturday. That's one of the colleges. His final choices he's looking at are UMass Amherst, UNH, and we're going to Quinnipiac this Saturday
Quinnipiac in
in Connecticut. So he's
Quinnipiac. They do all those, every survey
Yeah,
that
the
you
polls.
read
Yeah, the political polls.
comes out of Quinnipiac.
Yep. So he's got to make his decision by May 1st.
Wow.
So
Good
yeah.
for him. So
Yeah.
what's going on? Huh?
Yeah. So things are going well. The kids,
Son of a gun. That's
So
amazing.
next year will be the big year. I'll have my daughter. She'll be a senior, and he'll be a freshman. So
Son of a gun. Ka-chink, 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 ka-chink,
Yeah.
ka-chink. Well, that's what you make the big bucks for, Mike.
Oh, yes,
You know?
yeah.
We all know about that.
yeah,
for Pete's
yeah.
sake.
Yeah.
And
And you've been traveling down the Cape?
oh yeah, we did. We have a house in South Dennis. It was, the second summer house, Virginia. When we both had jobs, because she's now retired, 41
nice.
years at Notre Dame Academy. It used to be Notre Dame Academy till they raised the tuition. Now it's Notre Dame Academy. Okay, so she retired just after I retired.
Did the school close? Was that in Worcester?
No.
What's
it's
the one
still-
I'm thinking? Wasn't there one in Worcester that closed?
No, well, they combined. We now have a St. Paul's High School, which is
Okay.
a combination of St. Peter's. St. Peter's, they didn't know what to do with St. Peter's, which was up Main South someplace. So they St. Peter's and Holy Name merged
Okay.
up
All right.
at the Holy Name.
Right.
And it's now called St. Paul's
Okay.
High School. Because now you get confused when I read the sports page with all the kids. I'm saying, what the heck is St. Paul's? Okay, because it used to be Holy Name and then St. Peter's and all that sort of stuff. But Notre Dame is there and all that sort of stuff. But when the plague hit us, and we were all stuck in the house, we had the house down the Cape, and I said, okay, why don't we just go down there? There was no place we could go in the early stages of this, but it was a different perspective, and we've just kind of kept doing it back and forth. Just kind of nice to change things around. Then we get into COVID trips.
What are COVID
Places,
trips?
COVID trips for us is places in Massachusetts that I have never been. Have you ever been to Winthrop?
Yes.
You have. Oh, there you are. I'm a South Bostonian. I had never been to Winthrop or Swampscott. No particular reason, to go to that part of the world. Okay.
It's right near
And
Logan
we did
Airport, as
that.
you know.
Huh?
It's right by Logan Airport.
Oh yeah, no, and
Yeah.
yeah, right. But I never got around to that side of it. Okay, it was fascinating, and we found New Bedford and Fall River. I'd been there years ago, but we started doing all these sort of places. And the last time we were down the Cape, we were saying, "Where are we going to go?" He said, "Well, there's no place else to go. We have to go someplace else out of state." We've kind of run out of it. Plymouth Rock. We did a day and went to Plymouth.
Oh, that's
An
nice.
amazing kind of stuff, anyway. And those were our COVID, our so-called COVID trips. So now the world has opened
just
up.
the two of you, and you make the
Oh,
trip.
yeah,
and
just the two of us.
That's nice.
Yeah. And the dog. The dog has to come everywhere.
Okay.
Has to do. Dog just comes in box. Son of a gun. So we're still doing the same thing, but thank God the world is beginning to open.
Yeah.
Okay, and a lot of stuff, as you know, we're into theater and the arts and stuff like that, and we've been going to things in Worcester at Hanover and Music Worcester, and those things are now kind of running, thank God, and places in Boston that we're going. So
Well, that's nice.
life is
Getting back to-
life is moving. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
It's
The important
nice.
part is
Yes.
what's going on under the Golden Dome now that I hear you're finally letting people in.
Yes.
It's open.
It's open. We were one of the, I think, if not the last, one of the last state houses to open. We had an implementation.
We know that. You've made every television program.
Yeah.
say, why isn't it open? What are they hiding?
No, it was funny. The week before we opened, we had these protesters wanting to get into the People's Building, and then the following week
I
we
watched
opened.
Channel 5, right?
And then the following week we opened, and not a soul.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. But we were one of the last state houses to reopen again. We had an implementation team that worked with the House and the Senate on obviously if one side opens, the other side's got to open, and kind of had the same type of rules.
Sure.
So, but we first opened and we had, you had the vaccine passports.
Yeah.
You had to wear masks.
Yeah.
Now, since the mandates are gone, it's just open again.
We're back in the real world.
We're back in the real world, so
Okay.
it's nice. We are still conducting. We did extend the COVID rules as far as operating for caucuses and hearings and formal session. So we do have some. We do still have the opportunity, if there are issues from COVID, that people can still
You could still do it
attend.
viral.
Right, you can still do a virtual attendance at session.
right.
And it's pretty, and there's really no concern about people not voting or someone voting in their place, because virtually you're on there. They do
Sure.
a roll call, they make sure that
Sure.
the person who is on the other end is in fact you.
You got it.
So,
Right.
so things are moving.
great.
And we've done a lot.
Yeah,
We've-
it's been very, very, very busy,
Yeah.
really and truly, with
And,
everything.
and as you know, it's an election season coming again, so
Really?
we're dealing with elections.
I didn't know that.
Dealing with elections and redistricting.
Redistricting.
Yes.
I haven't heard anything about the mass redistricting, because we've been so caught up nationally with mainly the southern states trying to figure out, how can we put all the African Americans someplace where they don't really, their votes
Well,
don't
because
really
right now,
count.
right now, I don't know of any lawsuits that have been filed. I think
There have been
in other states, but in Massachusetts right now, I don't know of any suits that have been filed. If there is, I
Really?
just missed it.
All right, tell me about the second Worcester district.
So the second Worcester district will be changing.
Ah.
I will be losing the town of Leicester, and I will
okay.
be losing. I represent half of Northbridge. I'll be losing that. I'll be losing the town of Upton.
Upton.
I'm gaining the town of. I'll be gaining the town of Westboro, all of Westboro.
Okay.
And
That's
my
big, that's big population.
yeah,
Okay.
and the area in Worcester is shifting a little east and north. Basically, what one of the issues that they had to contend with from Central Mass and Western Mass was where the population in Western Mass didn't meet the requirements. The
Sure.
requirement was to have 175,000 people per
Right.
Senate district.
Yep.
Now it's plus or minus 5%. Well, the 6 senators out there in Western Mass, they were having a problem with the population not meeting the requirements
Sure.
needed. So most of the Senate districts out that way went down between 165 and 170. But in doing that, they had to bring the senators east. So
Okay.
Senator Goby, who actually had west of me previously, or
Yeah.
as of right now, she was west of me. She is actually gaining the towns of Leicester, Paxton, and Holden,
Okay, right up in
and
that
into
neck of the woods.
Worcester.
Oh, a piece of
So
Worcester.
yeah, so she's actually coming into some parts of the western part of the side of Worcester. She went almost like if you went from the lower Worcester line up about 3/4 of the way, it's right about to the airport, and then she comes into this little towards Maine South area. So she's coming into Worcester. So now Worcester's going to have three senators,
Okay.
and Senator Chandler.
Yeah, Senator
Is-
Holly.
Yeah, so she's
is
retired. She's
retiring. after a
retiring,
whole bunch of
and
years.
Yep.
And she was a sweetheart. I
Yep.
mean, sweetheart in the sense of she's a really nice person, and meant a lot.
so her district changed, but
Yeah.
again, it's predominantly going to be the Worcester area, and there's 2 people running
Yeah,
for
yeah.
her seat.
My dear friend, the mayor.
Yes, Joe
is-
Petty.
is
Yeah,
running.
Joe's running. He's done a great
much
job.
Much to the chagrin of Ray Mariano, who
Yes.
wrote a piece in the newspaper, for which he ought to be ashamed of himself. Okay.
Joe's done a really good job in Worcester.
Yeah.
From being the mayor with Mike O'Brien as the city manager
Yeah.
to Ed Augustus.
Ed Augustus, and now Ed's.
And now Ed's leaving. So
Moving on.
actually, so Worcester's got some changes that they're going to have to deal with. Losing Ed Augustus, they're losing Maureen Benenda, the school superintendent.
Yeah, and-
so if you look at the top
and the mayor.
so the whole top leadership or administration is going to be shifting, moving. So so we'll have to see how that plays out for the city.
Right.
And then Other than that, there's some changes, North Worcester County. I don't know, there's very few districts that stay the same.
From the House point of view, a dear friend of mine is running for state rep in Westboro, and I talked to her just a while ago, and I said, well, what is it? Because it was Shrewsbury had Hannah Kane
Yes.
had the town of Shrewsbury and a piece of Westboro.
Yep.
And this nice lady was saying to me, now it goes all sorts of crazy places.
Yeah, actually,
there.
Representative Kane's district
Yeah.
stays the same.
Okay.
So
she keeps-
Westboro right now has 3 state representatives.
Exactly.
With the redistricting as of January, Representative Kane will keep her same district. She'll keep 1 precinct in Westboro.
Yeah.
The other representatives, Carolyn Dykema,
Who
left.
resigned.
Yep.
Retired.
And then Danielle Gregoire
Yeah.
will still have a piece of, has a piece now.
Yeah.
Westboro is now going to, Westboro and I think parts of Northboro,
Yeah.
and even Southboro, are going to create or form a new representative district.
Yeah.
So
And
Kate Donahue is going to be running for that.
Kate Donahue,
Yeah.
who I've known for a gazillion years, a fervent campaigner. My
Yes.
goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, the phone call I had just before we started was her.
Was her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one too. It was a ka-chink call. Kevin, I said, I'm running. I said, this is absolutely wonderful. Here's where you can send the check. Okay. Which is great, which is what we're
It's a necessary part of the
what
job.
we are supposed to do. Okay,
Yes.
Shrewsbury's having its local election in May. Oh goodness, I should have the date. Whatever the first Monday or Tuesday is in May. Okay.
Oh, the first Monday is May 2nd, and Tuesday's May 3rd.
Okay, it's the first part of May, folks. Okay, whenever it is, and the signs are coming up. There's a couple of folks. John LeBeau, who was a longtime selectman in our town, finally decided, okay, that's it. And I talked with him, and he's possessed with grandchildren at this stage.
That's
okay?
nice.
Okay, but he's one of those Facebook people which had all of them have pictures of their grandchildren, thousands of pictures of their grandchildren. And I said, John, you become a Facebook grampy, okay? And he laughed, but that's good. So there's a couple of folks. John Samia is running for re-election, and a lovely lady named Michelle Conlon, very active in the school system. A wonderful, wonderful lady, and there is another candidate whose name I don't know.
No, it's good that new people are getting involved.
We'll see it, and then the school committee. There's a bunch of them running on the school committee.
There are quite a few towns that are having people who's having a problem having
Getting
people
people to
come
run.
out to run.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's not surprising, but I've never seen in, I'm going to say my lifetime, not just the last several years, I've never seen school committee races or school committee issues be so volatile as they have been.
Yeah.
We have people that are complaining about receiving death threats, and it's
That's crazy.
it's and it's hard to get people.
Part of it was COVID madness, really.
Yeah, but there's still right now. There's issues with CRT. There's issues with sex education. There's I'm trying to think what the other issue is that they've been complaining about. But it was just the COVID, the mask mandates and those things.
Sure.
And some of the
Vaccines and all that stuff.
and I don't want to say the funny thing about it is, but the interesting point is the CRT issue. I don't know of any school district in the state.
They're not doing it.
They're not doing it.
No, of course not.
But there's a perception out there that it's being taught.
Sure.
So
But just listen to every Republican, and I'll tell you, they're ruining our children. They're teaching them history that doesn't say we're always good and have always been good. That there are issues in which we haven't been so good.
I even
Not a bad way. Not a bad way to approach it.
and I even had Shelley reach out to DESE, Department of Early and Secondary Education, because with all the news that's been going on regarding Florida and what's going on with their Don't Say Gay bill.
Don't Say Gay, right.
I asked her to reach out to DESE. I said, let's get something stating what the policy is here in Massachusetts.
Great.
So we're waiting for an official reply, but what we're getting right now is that every school district sets their own policy as far as some of this curriculum, but they don't know of any, we don't know of any that's had this issue come up relative to those discussions in the K through 3 grades. So hopefully we won't see a lot of that here.
It'll all somehow resolve itself.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully it will anyway. But it's a tough time. It
It
was
is.
a tough time. I mean, to have been a school superintendent, Joe Sawyer in Shrewsbury, Miss Benenda in Worcester, two that I'd focus on because, you know, those are the two that I know. I said, going through this whole COVID thing, you know, the virtual classrooms and then the mixed, you know, you came in on 2 days, you stayed home for 3 days. I said, my God, who would want those jobs? It's what I say frequently to my wife, and she says to me, I said, well, why would Joe Biden ever want to be president? Why would anybody want to be president of the United States in this day and age? You know, my God, with the COVID nonsense, with, you know, economic issues, and then, you know, the crazy guy in Russia who decides he wants his kingdom back.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's actually sad what's going on.
Pardon?
It's sad what's going on
Oh,
over
it's
there.
terrible. It's absolutely
Really
terrible.
is.
And
You know,
God love CNN reporters who are out there in flak jackets and the rest of it.
And you know, the argument he's making that NATO's a threat. NATO's a defensive entity.
Sure.
It's not an aggressive.
Right.
So, I mean, you can use whatever excuse you want to use to try to rebuild the Soviet Empire.
Yeah.
But I think everything that his original goals were to attain has actually backfired.
Yeah.
Now you've got more countries wanting to join NATO.
Right.
Finland's looking at joining.
wants to join.
Finland wants to.
Lithuania wants to.
Sweden's talking about joining if Finland does. So, you know, the intent of what he wanted to do is now.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's really terrible, really and truly. And now it's reached the stage, unfortunately, with all the media coverage of it being massacres of civilians, which is.
Then they just hit. I was just on the news today that they hit a nitrous oxide tanker or facility, and
really?
so they've got the gas that they put a warning out to the public to stay in their homes because of
My God.
the gas.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Really and truly terrible.
But on the state level, so
It's budget time.
budget time, and we've.
This is April. This is the first part of April.
Yeah, so the House will be doing their budget within, I think, the week after school vacation.
Right.
And then, now the governor released his budget back in
January. $2.3 billion, I think.
A little higher,
Really? Shelley told me. What was it?
not 2.3.
Oh, 3 point.
No,
What
no,
was it? Come on, we got to see what Shelley said.
it's, what is it, is it 24?
No, 2.4 billion.
Oh, it is.
It did.
Oh, that's
Shelley-
the supplemental budget.
Shelley told us.
That's the supplemental budget detail.
Another 2.4
Yes,
billion.
the budget, the
Oh,
governor's
okay.
budget actually itself is over,
I
four-
am- I
it's
am-
over $40 billion.
I am totally confounded. There are, and it's no criticism because, I mean, the world has changed by the
Yes.
moment, okay? But it was traditionally, the governor put out a budget for X number of dollars. You guys looked at it first.
No,
and
the
then
House
House
first.
looked at it first. That's right. It has to be the House first, and then they would tinker with it, and do all sorts of stuff, and then it would come over to you
Right.
people,
In the Senate,
most of you being Democrats,
Yes.
intriguingly. It comes over to you guys, and you kind of play with it, tinkered with it for a while, and then we were there. And then every year, when I was town moderator, and you know, our town meeting was third Monday in May, and we always say, "Oh my God, you know, what do we don't have a number from the Golden Dome at this
well,
point."
we've been
You've been good.
We've been good at trying to give at least a
Now
local aid.
we've got a budget, and then we have the supplemental budget.
We've had some supplemental budgets. So basically, we at the end of November into December, we did a supplemental budget that was COVID related.
Okay.
Not this one that's we got the paperwork on.
Yeah.
We did a previous one.
Yeah.
Now that was about $4 billion worth of funding that was dispersed. 2.5 2.5 of that was part of the original $5 billion of COVID money from the feds.
Okay.
Then we had a surplus from last fiscal year, which we utilized that money on top of that, and we dispersed that. Then, so that left us another $2.5 billion, which we still haven't dispersed yet.
Okay.
But we did.
Where's the federal though? Do we have?
Well, there's the other
Do we
feds.
have a little package of federal money someplace?
Well, there's the money that the feds just did back in, was it January, I think it was, or February? The $12 billion, well, the other infrastructure money.
Right.
Massachusetts is estimated to get about $12 billion.
12
Billion.
billion.
Yes.
And this is in that infrastructure
Infrastructure,
bill?
yes.
My God.
So we're still waiting for Ways and Means to give us a breakdown from the administration on how that money has to be dispersed.
Okay.
So that's still out there. So right now,
Because that's focused, I mean, that's targeted,
Yes.
allegedly
That's-
targeted money.
yes.
But it's up to you guys to further target it, okay? I mean, it's roads.
right. Well, it's
bridges.
it's similar to the other money that we have that's COVID related. This is going to be infrastructure money. So it's going to have to go towards infrastructure projects.
Okay.
So, but we still have the other 2.5 billion that we haven't spent. We did do another supplemental budget a few weeks ago. The House originally sent over about a $55 million sup. We increased it to about 80, and then went to
And
conference.
Why did you do that? What are we gonna do with that money?
Well, that's for other COVID-related expenses that we had to disperse.
Okay.
So, but it ended up coming out of conference about $101 million. So that's been dispersed. But we still have the 2.5 billion. And right now, the revenue estimates that have been coming in for this fiscal year far exceed what we had last year.
Isn't that intriguing?
Yeah, so we're looking, we could anywhere, we
How did that
could be
happen?
looking at close to $2 billion
My God.
in I don't want to say surplus, but revenue above the estimates that we thought.
Isn't that intriguing?
Yeah,
huh?
so that's, if you look at, and other than inflation, the unemployment is down to
Yes.
record lows.
To me,
So it's everything.
National unemployment is 3 point something
Yeah.
at this point.
So it's actually too bad that there can't be something to get better control of what's going on with the inflation.
Right.
Because that's
Well, it
really,
is.
that really seems to be the only thing that's holding things back
Right.
right now. And it's
Tell people to start buying stuff.
well, but we not just the buying.
I read that Paul Kruger in the Times, and it's basically that, you know?
Well, but the other thing we have too
You
is
guys
with
are buying too much stuff, stop buying it.
yeah. But the other problem we have too is right now is that employees are having a hard time hiring people.
That's right.
So this is actually one concern we have with the federal money, is that we have all this federal money coming in, which, by the way, every state has coming in.
Okay, and we're gonna have to stop talking that, keep your hand just like that, because we're gonna do this program, because Liz says we are running out of time. It was fascinating to have you back. We're all gonna do something, and the last program we did was May of 2021. Oh, God,
Okay.
long time ago.
Yes,
All right,
yeah.
this is April, okay.
Yeah.
We'll be at it. We've got to get more budget stuff. Folks, please stay with it. Please stay with us and join us. We will be back frequently and very, very soon. Bye.